CBS got rid of Stephen Colbert. Why? Well, it was financially prudent. It appears that they lost $40 million on Stephen Colbert, but they're profiting $15 million on Byron Allen. So they cut our entire losses, and they're actually earning money on the time slot.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they're not going to replace these people with that structure any longer. But Byron Allen, who's a brilliant businessman, has a show called Comic Unleashed, and he's had a number of other shows. He is purchasing that time slot like an infomercial. This is not CBS doing it. CBS is getting $15 million from him annually, and he keeps every single dollar of the ad revenue for putting on his shows in that slot. So they're now farming this out, as I predicted. They're not going to replace the hosts one by one as they go down. Now, you asked about Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, who's got a contract extension to 2028, has multiple shows on NBC, and I believe they will still pull the plug on the late night show and keep him for the other 2 or 3 shows that he's involved in at NBC. So his contract is not just for the late night show, Jimmy Fallon. Kimmel, I think, is going to be the next to go down.
True. By the way, did you see that Adam Carolla got a star on Hollywood
Big
Walk
news out here. Big news here. Everybody's
Jimmy Kimmel, it's like not often I can say nice things about Jimmy Kimmel, but that is one of his closest friends. It's one of those unlikely pairings anymore politically, but Jimmy Kimmel did the presentation and was there and everything supporting Carolla. So I do appreciate that they can at least get along and get beyond politics, albeit, for a minute. And I saw that Dr. Drew is also.
Well, he doesn't have a dog in the hunt. Oh, he's off to France, Dr. Drew, for people who are looking for him. But there's a show called Hollywood Demons on HBO Max that's really interesting about drugs and crime in Hollywood. And Drew was featured in a couple of episodes if people want to check it out.
Well, to be fair, is it legal to do a show on drugs in Hollywood without Dr. Drew being involved?
Well, not only that, I mean, they're trying to revoke his license for selling the portable wellness company stuff, and it's political. It's a political hit. It has nothing to do with that. He wrote him a 10-page letter the other day, and they've been trying to do this for a number of years from different angles. Now they're trying this angle.
Well, it's a good time for him to write the letter and get at that because Alex Berenson just finally prevailed.
How about that? I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that case, Eric.
Well, because it's 5 years old now. These things go on so long, but it is so important because the DOJ did it. Now it is obviously under another administration, but to be fair, people forget that Trump was a major figure in rolling out, Operation Warp Speed. He wasn't, telling Twitter as we can.
Right. I mean, the case is about Berenson being kicked off Twitter by the Biden administration, and he's finally prevailed. And he said the amount of money it's only $150,000 that he said, but it's not about the money. He has another suit against them as well that's still pending. So he's not stopping at the 150,000, but the victory to him was more than the money.
What's his name, his reputation, and I hope he at least gets his legal fees as well, because that would make a difference too. That he could win those. All right, so while we're visiting the Biden administration for a minute, they're somehow back in the news. I guess it, Hunter goes on with Candace Owens, so mom and dad, or I don't know, stepmom and dad.
Well, she's got a new book, Eric. There's going to be a national book tour, so bring it on.
Yeah, and supposedly she's saying that she thought that Joe Biden was having a stroke during the disastrous 2024 debate with Trump.
Or drugged. She said. She also said drugged.
Really? Tell me more.
Oh yeah, in the book. Yeah, absolutely. She first she thought it was a stroke, then she believed someone had drugged him.
Wow.
It all goes out the window because moments after the debate, she takes him to Waffle House instead of the emergency room. So it's all a crock of shit anyway to sell a book.
Well, and Trump did a good job covering. He goes, "Yeah," and I noticed that she didn't go up to him, she didn't walk to him, and remember when she
Right,
was holding
right.
him up, saying, "You were so good."
Good.
That
Good
was so
job, Billy.
creepy.
Way
Oh
to
my,
go, Billy. Way to go.
yeah, the
I'm
elder
surprised she
abuse.
didn't give him a cookie.
I guess he didn't fulfill all of his responsibilities, but yeah, it was just blah.
The book, apparently, according to inside sources, is her getting even with some of the internal people around them, whatever that means. I don't know, just people we may not even know, or people in his cabinet, or people in his inner socialist circle, more likely.
Oh, I'm sure because they were supposed to hold him up or blah 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 blah. But again, he
She,
shouldn't even
right. I mean,
run.
he may have some bad words about she may have some bad words about Kamala Harris. But it's the book. I mean, think about it. To get the book deal, you got to have something, and you're gonna have to put up or shut up, for salacious stuff, Eric.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody wants to hear about your bullshit problems.
well, yeah. I think that the stroke there had to be more than that because is that it's like you sold the book on that. That is
No, no, no. That's
really
just a
sad.
leak of that's just one of many, press releases that has to come out of a major book like that to be to justify the tour and the price of the book. I'm sure there's more. I mean,
Well,
look how
okay.
long Kamala Harris's book tour was. I mean, hers just ended, and now this one is beginning. So they have these windows of opportunity. They don't overlap. They take their turn, trying to get through the Strait of Hormuz media to have their moment on The View. She is going to be interviewed by the incredible journalist Whoopi Goldberg at the 92nd Street Y in
Oh, perfect.
Manhattan. And then will people presume be a guest on The View, which is not a political show. It's like Meet the Press.
A couple days ago, we had Iran saying it targeted a U.S. air base in retaliation for strikes that were essentially laid against the boats that were laying the mines and
Hmm.
whatnot. And now, as of today, Trump has announced that the blockade is going to be lifted.
Nobody knows what's going on here at this point. Do you?
No,
Neither
I
do
really
I.
don't.
All I could do is editorialize at this point. Commenting on these hour by hour shifts in the sand is a fool's errand. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know what I would do. And what I would do would be to force open the Straits of Hormuz while blockading the nation of Iran economically and let them negotiate at their leisure with the Straits open by the force of the American Navy, physically forcing those Straits open by the United States naval strength. That's what I would do. Let them choke to death economically, simultaneously, and open up the Straits to get the oil flowing to the rest of the world.
Sure.
That's it. I don't, I mean, strangle them economically, continue the blockade, physically, violently, militarily, if necessary, open up the straits. I just find this hard to believe that this is an impossible military task, Eric. Now, you were down in Guantanamo. You've seen the power of the American Navy, having been down there and been involved in the military. I find it hard to believe that somebody can convince me that the United States military, with all those ships, with the Gerald Ford there, and aircraft carriers and destroyers and minesweepers, cannot open up the Strait of Hormuz. Nothing will ever convince me of that. I find that impossible myself, just as my personal thing. And if that is true, if that situation is true, then open up the straits for oil, let it flow back and forth, let it flow out of there, choke off the Iranians until they are strangled to death economically. Who gives a shit how long that takes? And let the oil prices lower gas prices in the United States, Eric.
And to be fair, even a Gitmo, you don't have to look up. I can go down the road to Norfolk.
Yeah. No,
There's
you're right. You're right.
So many
Yeah.
vessels.
Do you find it impossible that this military goal cannot be achieved? They have no navy, for Christ's sakes. I find this hard to believe that a couple of speedboats with bazookas is going to defeat the United States Navy.
It's obviously political
Right.
pressure and whatnot.
Yeah.
There also could be a strain on munitions. If I'm being fair, I don't know what our supply
I find
is.
that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe.
Well, under the Biden administration, because we shut so much down.
Well, no, they gave it to the
Ukraine.
They gave it to the Ukrainians.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, I actually could see that on hand we may have not had the biggest supply, and we're still trying to get more, manufactured at this point. But I don't know.